Geza Frey. I live on Hamilton Boulevard, close to the park. I have first of all, I want to say that I'm for the handicap accessible park and the playground. I like the idea of it. I have a couple concerns that I need to ask though. I keep hearing that this is phase one, it's the final phase one. How many phases are there of this project? And are you not going to add a cafe, skate park into future parts of phases of the project?
No.
So that there's no more phases after phase one?
I think I already addressed the question in the past. If we ever do a phase two, if we get additional grant money, it would be to improve the pool and to do some improvements on Lake Muhlenberg because there's some severe sedimentation problems there.
Okay. And the other thing was, I know you're saying about the funding. I know people are mentioning about fixing up the other parks. Are those other parks going to have to wait until phase two of this park gets done, or are they going?
No, there's $2.2 million that we've allocated for other improvements. Everything from Stevens Park to Jordan Park to Irving Park to Keck Park to the Trout Nursery to Fountain Park. There's improvements on every single park.
One of my other concerns were the lights that are going into the walkways. Isn't that going to promote people being in the park after hours, after dark? And who's going to be able to police that?
There are currently lights there right now.
I live right there. There are lights.
In a state of disrepair.
There are lights there, and they're very dim. And if you put bright lights into the park, I think people are going to start hanging in the park at night.
There'll be atypical park lights, LEDs.
Okay.
So, I don't know if there'll be any more lumens than what we currently have, but right now those lights are actually falling apart, and they're very energy efficient.
Okay, and another question was, taking up the space that you're taking up to put the new additions to the park, isn't that going to make Mayfair have a hard time squeezing Mayfair into that side of the park and force it to the other side?
We don't believe so.
No, we've actually, Mayfair is a part of the process. We've met with them on multiple occasions.
Because like I mentioned, you mentioned about Sports Fest, that was me. The Sports Fest, there was double parking on each side of Hondo Chick Drive, and people were getting arguments and everything. There was an accident this past Sports Fest because people were parked on both sides and there was no way to get through the street, and I couldn't even get to my driveway, and a girl got mad at me, spun around me, and slammed into somebody else. So that's a concern of mine. My other question is, why was nothing mailed to the residents of the close proximity of the park until recently? Now that the project's about to begin within 2 weeks.
I'm sorry, what was your question?
Why was nothing mailed to the residents that live right by the park until recently?
We have done an extensive planning process, as we pointed out. We've put out public...
The first time I received any mailing was this week.
We apologize for that. It's not typical as part of this process, but we try to engage the public the best way we possibly can. We outlined for you all the things that we've done. This is not like it was hidden from anybody in any way, shape, or form. We had two publicly publicized public meetings. We put it out to 80.
Well, I've been in the last 3 meetings and I have seen nobody from the administration.
Well,
until now.
Well, let me address that, if you may. The last meeting was just a courtesy of the floor. I was on vacation. It's the first time I've taken vacation.
One of the meetings you were in the building.
Can I finish talking?
Sure.
One of them I was on vacation. Greg was here for a certain portion of the meeting, and then he had to go and watch his kids because his wife was out that particular evening. The meeting before that, we were told by City Council, and Councilman President DeMoore and I had talked, that 2 of the 3 council people were not going to be here, and the committee did not constitute a quorum, and thus the committee could not happen. Councilman Phillips, my understanding, did the meeting anyways. I was in the building for an interview with Channel 69. I had a prior commitment. I left the building because of that prior commitment. So it wasn't that we were trying to avoid. If we had known that the meeting was actually going to be taking place, we would have had somebody here from the administration to start answering some of these questions. But we have tried our very best to do what we can to get this information out to the general public. I think we've gone, quite honestly, above and beyond in many cases. If you look at other planning processes that we've had in the city, this plan has probably been out there longer, has gotten more scrutiny, has gotten more input, we've had it up on the website. It was in City Hall right here for at least a year
I know,
and a
but the
half.
pictures keep changing.
No, the pictures don't keep changing. That's part of the.
Wasn't it?
No, the exact plan that was put out there and if you look at the plan itself and you look at the picture, it says possible proposed, skate park. Possible proposed. It doesn't say that it was going to actually be part of the end plan. It was just the initial vision. We took in comments on that vision. It hasn't changed since the very beginning. There's been no, bait and switch here in any way, shape, or form. We have tried to give the most detailed information that we possibly can to the general public. Now, realizing that there was concerns of people who live around the park, we sent out that letter. We also made sure that we worked with council, and Council President DeMoore and I have talked. We set up this special meeting specifically to go through this time and express to residents what exactly is happening here, because we saw there was a lot of misinformation.
Well, that's the thing with misinformation I wanted to ask you about. There's a lot of misinformation that was given this past weekend, and I wanted to ask you, why did you reach out to the churches and ask them and tell them this was a race issue and a discriminatory issue so they come here to support this?
First of all,
Mr. Mayor, you can answer that if you want, but your time is up, sir, so we're gonna have to...
I'm not even going to dig into that.
All right.
That's fine. It's not a-
Thank you, sir.
It wasn't a race issue.
Hey, please, if you want to speak, please come forward. Mr. Schreier.